What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Smash Factor episode 12. I'm your host, Alex Wober, and man, it feels good to be back. We've had a little break, but don't worry, Ultimate Long Drive absolutely did not take a break. Hitters across the country have been launching absolute missiles while we were gone, so today we're catching everybody up on the last few weekends of action from all over the United States. We've got 8 different league events to cover, massive division wins, so returning champions, multi-win weekends, and enough 350-plus yard drives to make your driver start sweating in the back. We'll also update you on upcoming events, the East Coast Classic, the XLD Draft, and some member perks you definitely need to know about. But before we start sending golf balls into orbit, a big thank you to all of our amazing sponsors and partners for continuing to support Ultimate Long Drive and all of our hitters across the country. And of course, shout out to Teed Up, the official performance drink of ULD, because if you're trying to hit 400-yard bombs every weekend, water alone might not be enough anymore. All right, let's head over to the state of Virginia, where the Mid-Atlantic League held their 4th event of the season at Woodridge Farm Brewery in Lovingston, Virginia. And honestly, long drive and breweries together, that sounds like the most American combination possible.
Starting in our youth divisions, Addison Garvey kicked things off with a win in the U7 girls division after an 86-yard drive. Following Addison, her brother Tyler Garvey capped off the youth hitters with a monster 304-yard drive to claim the U15 boys division. 304 yards in U15 is absolutely absurd. I mean, at that age, I was struggling to parallel park a golf cart. Moving into the amateur divisions, the men's 75 amateur division saw Michael Porter clutch up a win with a 256-yard drive. Moving down to the men's 55 amateur division, Ulysses White grabbed a win after a 275-yard shot. And the women's 50 amateur division landed in Jennifer White's lap as she put together a 219-yard performance. Back to the men's divisions, Brian Hare doubled up in Virginia, recording wins in the men's 50 and men's 45 amateur divisions with drives of 297 and 296 yards. El Presidente himself, Kevin Porter, logged a 284-yard drive to take home the men's 40 amateur division. Somewhere there was probably a presidential wave after that one. The last women's division went to Sarah Grace Parr after a 186-yard drive, secured the victory. And the last amateur division of the event went home with Anthony Davidson in the open men's amateur after blasting the longest drive of the event at 357 yards. Moving into the pro divisions, Craig Morelli picked up the men's 45 pro win with a 258-yard drive. And in the men's 35 pro division, Brandon Rothweiler made his return with a 316-yard drive for the win. Return season is officially activated for Brandon. And capping off the Mid-Atlantic event, Jace Norman took home the open men's pro division with a 338-yard drive. And now we head down south to the Sunshine State of Florida. The Florida Emerald Coast League held their second event of the season at Sandestin Raven in Miramar Beach. Starting with the open adaptive division, Stoney Calloway picked up a win with a nice 218-yard drive. Following that, Antje Rutenborg, excuse me if I mispronounced that, logged a 231-yard drive to capture the open women's amateur division. And then Lee Hodges basically turned the event into his own personal side quest. Lee claimed 4 division wins in Florida, including the men's 35, men's 40, men's 45, and open amateur divisions with drives of 281, 276, 289, and 292 yards. That man was collecting divisions like Thanos collecting Infinity Stones. I know you've heard that one before, but congrats to Lee Hodges out there in Florida. Now let's head north to Pennsylvania. The Western Pennsylvania League held their 3rd event of the season at the Back Nine Golf in Pittsburgh. The 2 division winners from that event included Steve Bressler in the men's 35 amateur with a 334-yard drive, and Alec Kravak grabbed the open men's amateur division after smashing a 319-yard drive for the victory. Back down south now to South Carolina, the Western Carolinas League hosted their 5th event of the season at Partee Golf Center in West Columbia. Starting in the youth divisions, Thomas Utley kicked things off in the U13 boys division with a 286-yard win. Next up, Isabel Hoffmeister secured the U15 girls division with a 195-yard drive, and completing the youth division, Sophia Carey logged a 212-yard drive to win the U17 girls division. Henry O'Grady also stopped by and recorded a win in the Open Adaptive Division with a 188-yard drive. Moving into the Valor Division, Bradley Trogdon smashed his longest ball, 326 yards for the division win, but he wasn't done yet. Bradley doubled up and also won the Men's 35 Amateur Division with a drive of 331 yards. Certified double feature performance for Mr. Trogdon. Following the double victory, Richard Hunt grabbed the Men's 55 Amateur Division with a 270-yard drive, while Gary Ramirez stepped up to the plate and recorded a 309-yard drive to win the Men's 70 Amateur Division. And capping off the event, Hank Hulk Parks smashed a 355-yard drive to claim the Open Men's Amateur Division. And honestly, with the nickname Hulk, anything under 350 probably feels illegal. Now let's head over to Michigan. The Michigan League held their second event of the season at Tap Ins in Howell, Michigan. Marty Chappell opened things up with a pair of wins in the Men's 55 Amateur and Men's 60 Amateur divisions with drives of 288 and 278 yards. In the Open Men's Amateur Division, Corey Moats absolutely smashed a 365-yard drive for the win. But the headline of the event belonged to Eric Lockamy. Eric picked up 5 division wins in Michigan, including the Valor Division, Men's 45 Amateur, Men's 50 Amateur, Men's 45 Pro, and Men's 50 Pro divisions with drives of 331, 295, 302, 287, and 295 yards. 5 division wins. At that point, just hand the man the building keys, okay? Now we head out west to California. The SoCal League hosted their 4th event of the season at Morongo Golf Club in Beaumont. Kicking things off with our lone youth winner, Ryan Pilato won the U17 boys division after a 324-yard bomb. The Valor division went to James Ray after a 303-yard drive for the win. Moving into the amateur divisions, though, Brian Jansen picked up 2 wins in the Men's 45 Amateur and Men's 50 Amateur divisions with drives of 338 and 340 yards. Verland Pearson secured the Men's 55 Amateur division after a 294-yard drive. And following Pearson, David Anderson stacked wins in both the Men's 60 Amateur and Men's 60 Pro divisions with drives of 311 and 316 yards. And Harrison Pearson stepped onto the scene in the Open Men's Pro division after smashing a 354-yard drive for the victory. And now we head over to the great state of Texas. The Central Texas League held their 5th event of the season at the Golf Ranch Dallas in Richardson. Joseph Cabuto kicked things off in the Men's 50 Amateur division after a 319-yard drive secured the win. Over in the Open Men's Amateur division, Max Rampa blasted a 367-yard drive for the victory. Switching to the pro side, Chris Nolan popped off with a 346-yard drive to take the Men's 50 Pro division. And no, we've said it before, not Christopher Nolan, although both versions probably know how to create explosions. Capping off Central Texas, Taylor Rickamore recorded the longest drive of the last few weekends after launching a 384-yard drive to win the Open Men's Pro division. Last stop of the recap, though, let's head to Utah. The Utah Nevada League held their 2nd event of the season at Sweet Heat Golf and Long Drive in Spanish Fork. Eric Lockamy returned and kicked things off in the Valor division with a 313-yard drive. And apparently Michigan was not enough for him because he also grabbed wins in the Men's 50 Amateur, Men's 50 Pro, and Men's 45 Pro divisions with drives of 264, 284, and 249. Following Lockamy's performance, Matthew Neal locked up the Men's 35 Amateur division with a huge 374-yard drive. In the Men's 45 Amateur division, Philip Webb grabbed the win after a 348-yard drive. And lastly, Benjamin Roots captured the Open Men Amateur division with a 347-yard drive. Following this weekend recap, we've got 2 events coming up on the 16th. The Mid-Atlantic League hosts their 5th event at Arundel Golf Park in Glen Burnie, Maryland at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And at the Coastal Carolinas League, they'll host their 5th event at Squires Turf Farm in Ainer, South Carolina at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For all upcoming league events, head over to ultimatelongdrive.com and follow us across Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and YouTube. And if you see an event near you, sign up and come test the grid. And don't forget the next North American Tour stop is coming up on June 13th in Lovingston, Virginia for the East Coast Classic, and you're not going to want to miss that one, I promise. Like we said at the beginning, breweries and long drive, how American can that get. If you're interested as well in the king of launch monitors, the incredible Spike at 3 by Golf Joy. Sign up for a ULD membership or head to the membership tab right now at ultimatelongdrive.com and claim your 15% off discount members. And while you're there, make sure to check out all the other discounts and member perks available through ULD. And lastly, the XLD Draft is back. We've been telling you this for weeks, months. The teams have returned, and if you want a shot to be drafted still and compete in this year's XLD Team Series, you're going to need to head to ultimatelongdrive.com and find the latest article on the XLD Draft application and apply. It's that easy. Once the draft pool fills up, the draft goes live and your name can be called. So get signed up, get swinging, and prepare for the return of XLD. That's going to do it for episode 12 of Smash Factor. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and stay locked in with Ultimate Long Drive on all socials. I'm Alex Wober, and we'll see you next time.